There is nothing more absolutely boring to me than listening to another financial coach regurgitate the exact same words that Dave Ramsey says every single day. This is a tough one for people who really don't like confrontation. You cannot stand out as a financial coach by just talking about. What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm financial coach Jess, and to celebrate enrollment opening soon for my Become a Coach program, I wanted to do a special video on all of my insider tips on how to stand out as a financial coach. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jessie White and I run a 6-figure financial coaching business, and I started my Become a Coach program to help other teachers at heart who want to start and grow their own financial coaching business. If you have found financial freedom, you probably know exactly how contagious it is, and you want everyone to feel the same way because you know that financial freedom is possible for everyone. If that sounds like you, definitely click the link below to watch my 60-minute free pricing workshop for financial coaches, and you can learn more about my Become a Coach program there. Every single year that goes by, there is more and more traffic online. It's crowded, it's dense, it's noisy, and in this video today, I want to show you guys exactly how a brand new online business can really stand out. Number one, and really my very first and favorite tip, something that I tell my coaches all the time, is that conversations create clients. It's simple, not easy, but really hear me on this, guys. You can stand out as a new financial coach by having one-to-one conversations with anyone and everyone that you can possibly come into contact with about what you do. Timid coaches sit back and wait for people to come to them. Coaches without clear direction easily get overwhelmed and they end up not taking action at all. Coaches that struggle with self-doubt and imposter syndrome, they actually actively avoid having conversations with people. Coaches that are following a step-by-step proven plan are having confident conversations every single day. In one way or another, these conversations are creating clients. Maybe the person that you're talking to doesn't fit your ideal client so much, they're not really a good fit for you, but maybe their sister or their daughter or babysitter or hairstylist or their next door neighbor, maybe they need help, and now you've got a strong referral coming your way. When you look at the stats, the cards are stacked too far for us for conversations not to create clients. There's simply just too many people that need a lot of help. And these stats are the result of a vicious cycle. When everyone is struggling with debt, they have no one to turn to because everyone is struggling with debt. And when people have no one to turn to, no one that they can trust that's in a better situation than them, they can't pass on this knowledge that they don't have to their kids. And the generational cycle continues. And unfortunately, it grows too. Believe me, conversations create clients. Number two is clear and timely communication. And this is one of my biggest pet peeves in my line of work. And that is when I am in a working relationship with someone else. Either we're collaborating on something, a client, a networking partner, whatever, and they cannot communicate with me in a clear and timely manner. We usually don't end up working together for very long. And it's not like every single person in North America doesn't have their phone on their person for at least 6 hours a day. I mean, first of all, phones are just too expensive to leave lying around. You can't say, oh, I lost my phone for 10 days. Sorry, I couldn't get back to you. Like, that just doesn't happen. This has always been so big for me. Even when I'm on vacation, I'll go into Gmail and I'll turn on the little auto notification that sends an auto reply. And basically, it just communicates, hey, I'm on vacation, I'm out of the office until this date. And when I get back, I'll have responded to you by this date. And then when I get back, I reply back to them. I think people in general really struggle to communicate well and in a timely manner for a couple reasons, and the first one being they don't have healthy boundaries. And for a second, this might seem a little backwards. Like, if you don't have good boundaries, wouldn't you just be on your phone all the time and then you'd be able to get back to me? But I think what happens is they don't have good boundaries, and so they just invite questions and comments, and they invite communication from all over, all the time, 24/7. And when you don't have good boundaries, the volume is just too much. They eventually get burnt out because they just can't handle the volume all by themselves, and they haven't put the correct boundaries in place to really vet their inbox. Quick side note on this. At one time, I had a bookkeeping client that really struggled in this area, and she would not get me information that I needed in order to do her bookkeeping, and she just never really answered my questions. And then finally one day she called me up on the phone and she said, "Hey, can you resend me all the information, basically all the things that you need from me over the last, whatever it was, 3 months, 6 months?" And I was like, I sent you an email, I sent you a reminder email, have you not been getting them? Is there a tech issue involved? What's going on? And she said, "No, I let my email, my inbox get kind of out of control. This happens every couple of months, and then I just erase everything. I clean slate it. I delete it all, and I just start over," is what she said. And I was like, "You do what?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, no, everything's fine. I'm just really bad at checking my email, and sometimes it gets overwhelming, so I just delete it all." And I'm like, oh, boundaries. The second big reason I think that people don't communicate in a clear and timely way is that they're just simply unorganized. They don't have a process for responding to correspondence. And I think that that was a little bit of her issue, as well as just not having clear boundaries. For me, I have all of my financial coaching clients add me on Voxer, a separate messaging app. When I first started this, I would get a little flack, and I get it. No one wants to download and have on their phone one more app. But again, enforcing boundaries and having very strict boundaries for what I knew would be best, I said, that's fine. You don't have to have Voxer, but just understand, you do not email me. Do not Facebook message me. Do not Instagram DM me. It's either Voxer or nothing. And this might seem harsh, but this is how I stay organized. This is the way that I can communicate with them in a 24-hour turnaround. I never leave my clients hanging, and it's because I have very strict rules about how we can communicate. On the flip side, all texting is for personal use only. I do not text clients. I do not text prospective clients. All texting is only for personal use. And to go a step further, I also keep all of my text messages up to date. I keep open conversations within my text, and then I delete everything else that has already been basically closed. This way, I don't have a graveyard full of text messages that I have to respond to, and it just keeps me very organized on what still needs to be addressed, what conversations I'm waiting on a reply from, and what I still need to reply to as well. Something else I do too is I go through my contacts every 6 months or once a year, and I go through and I delete old contacts or contacts that I have duplicates of, and that way all of those stay up to date. So moving on to email, I have 2 email accounts. One is with Ethan, that is our joint account used for personal use only, and the other one is used for business. I don't keep thousands of unread emails. I don't even keep dozens of unread emails because that stresses me out. I definitely don't keep old subscriptions or annoying subscriptions that are really just spam. And I keep my spam and junk folders completely cleaned out. And this enables me and empowers me to be on top of all of my communication. Nothing goes unseen. You have to be vigilant about this. There just is no other way. And that leads me to number 3, is that people don't communicate in a clear and timely way because they just flat out don't care. And I don't really understand this. I mean, my communication, especially since I am the name of my brand, the face of my brand, the way that I communicate and the way that I treat other people is a direct reflection of me as a person and my character. When you think about it, my entire job, my entire day revolves around making sure that people feel seen and heard. How can I claim to do that well if that's not reflected in the way that I communicate too? To me, there's just no excuse. I know that at times things will come up that are 100% out of our control, but if we're really being honest with ourselves, these things don't happen all that often, especially when we have clear boundaries. We really care for other people and we care about the way our communication reflects back on us and when we are organized. If you don't communicate clearly and in a timely manner, you won't stand out as a financial coach. Honestly, you'll just be another amateur entrepreneur. Number 3 is having appropriate priorities when it comes to people within your business. Now, let me explain the priorities of how I see people within my business. Number 1, at the very top of this hierarchy is my family. That comes first before anything else. Next are my clients. They are paying me for a portion of my time. I definitely don't want to put them on a back burner when I'm doing something else because they are the next priority. After that, I would say next is like prospective clients and referral partners, making sure that I'm communicating with them, making sure that they feel cared for. And then next are my audiences. So this would be creating YouTube videos. This would be posting on Instagram. I'm not going to be surfing Instagram or going on Facebook and talking to people there if I have client communication that's still waiting for me. And this explanation here is pretty loose. I mean, you could get out a magnifying glass and like really get detailed on what the priorities are in your business, but this just helps me when there's some sort of conflict or when I have to choose one over the other, which does happen fairly often. I've got this hierarchy in place and it takes the decision making completely out of it for me. And to be honest, this is coming from a very personal experience place. I mean, I have been the client, I have been the prospective client, and I am waiting for an email reply, or I'm waiting for an answer to a question, and I'm paying them money, or I'm seeing if I'm a good fit to pay them money. And then I see them hopping on their Instagram stories and doing a whole day's worth of content there, or I see them in their Facebook groups drumming up new clients, and I'm like, where's the priority? You're not even taking good care of the clients that you already have. Why are you trying to go out and get more? And this really ends up putting a bad taste in my mouth. And trust me, I know the difference between recorded content and scheduled content. I mean, if you're waiting on a response from me and a YouTube video is posted, this was like a month ago that I scheduled the video and made sure everything was in place. I know the difference between recorded content and scheduled content, and someone, like I said, getting on IGTV live or going live in their Facebook group or hopping on stories. This is something I think a lot of content creators really struggle with, and a lot of new entrepreneurs really struggle with because they're always worried about the next month's revenue. They're out trying to secure that next month's revenue when I promise you, leaving your current clients high and dry is a great way to ensure that you are struggling to collect revenue in the next couple months. It comes off just really poorly, and to be honest, I don't want to refer business to entrepreneurs that I've had this experience with in the past. If you prioritize your people, the revenue will take care of itself because your clients and the people that matter most when it comes to your revenue are going to feel cared for, and they're going to want you to succeed as a result of that. Number 4, and I love this one. This one is find out what makes your financial perspective unique and then be unapologetic about it. There is nothing more absolutely boring to me me than listening to another financial coach regurgitate the exact same words that Dave Ramsey says every single day. You're telling me that there is nothing unique about what you believe when it comes to money? They're also telling me in a roundabout way that they're not really thinking for themselves. One of my unique financial perspectives is that I am very openly against penny pinching and frugal living. That turns some people off to my coaching for sure, and that's okay because I'm not a one-size-fits-all coach. I coach a very specific age, a very specific demographic, and I'm not gonna be a good fit for anyone who just stumbles upon my YouTube channel. Don't be afraid of polarizing content. Embrace it. It's going to repel people away from you that are not a good fit, but it's also going to be attracting people to you that are a good fit. You cannot stand out as a financial coach by just talking about budgeting and the debt snowball. Really investigate, really look and see what you believe, what makes your financial perspective different. This is a tough one for people who really don't like confrontation because you have to be willing to be at some point misunderstood. You have to be willing for people to call you out yourself, and you have to be willing to be told you're wrong. I have a coach that's in my Become a Coach program right now, and her ideal client are military spouses. And her unique financial perspective that's really ruffled some feathers in this community is that the military spouses need to stop doing MLMs as their side hustle. They're wasting so much money and so much time, and they're not making any money from these things that they're doing. They're just on this cycle of being busy all the time. And trust me, people take this very, very seriously and really get offended by it. I've done one video on my channel for sure about MLMs and really speaking out about the truth. Like, here's the stats, 99% of people don't make money in MLMs, and that's just a fact. And she has taken some flack for taking this really strong stance within her ideal client, but she is going to be so successful and already has had so much success because she is unwilling to be apologetic about her stance on this. She wants to help these people not just feel good about themselves, but actually give them maybe a harsh truth at first so that these families, these lives can really truly be transformed. All right, guys, those are my 4 big ways to stand out as a financial coach. If you got value out of those 4 ways to stand out, make sure you like this video for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to my channel for future videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.